What's up, LEGO fans? Welcome to Pete's Bricks, the YouTube channel for common LEGO fans. Today we're going to be looking at a new mosaic set that comes from LEGO DC. It's actually Batman themed, and it's made to imitate the art of the Batman artist Jim Lee. Now, before I get into this video, I first want to start off by saying that I am a huge Batman fan, and that I'm a real DC fan. Not every LEGO YouTuber can know everything about everything that LEGO makes, right? If I wanted to watch a YouTuber who knows a lot about LEGO Star Wars and Star Wars in general, I would check out a video by M&R Productions, for example. He knows what he's talking about when he talks about Star Wars.
This is lazy? I don't know how else to describe it. Disgusting? I don't know. Like,
if I wanted to see a video by someone who knows about DC as much as me, maybe as much as me, I don't know, I know an awfully lot about DC, I would check out Ash and Flash. From the videos that I've seen where he talks about DC, I think he knows what he's talking about.
All of the different,
he knows about obscure characters like Etrigan, the Demon, Dr. Fate, who's not very obscure, but he knows his stuff. But I would argue, and I challenge him, that I know even more about DC. You see, I go to my comic store about every 1 to 2 weeks to pick up the brand new comics. I have a collection of comics, graphic novels. Just so you believe me, I got this issue of Joker. I think I have a few newer than this. This is issue 10. Just had this lying around here. But just to let you guys know, yes, I buy comics. I'm not making that up. Now, pertaining to the art we're going to look at, I do have my graphic novel of Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb's Hush. Probably the Batman story that Jim Lee is most famous for, and Jeff Loeb. Although he's also written Long Halloween, Dark Victory, stuff like that. But this is one of the best, I'd say, somewhat modern DC comic. Came out somewhere in the 2000s. It's just really good comic. So you may have seen this set already. It's $120. You can build Batman, Joker, or Harley Quinn. Like I said, it is based off of the Jim Lee Batman. So a lot of the art I'm going to be comparing to art from this book, Hush. So I'm going to take a look at these images, and you're going to probably see them right in your screen. Maybe I'll put it right here, right there. Yeah, that looks good. So let's get into it. So, first up is Batman. It looks good. It looks like a really well-made Batman. I like the different shades of blue they put in there, right? They could have done black and some grays, but they went with the blue, which is more similar to Batman in Hush. Although the Batman in Hush, his blue, it's almost gray. It's so dark. But I like that the designers went with that lighter blue, what I call basic normal blue, to fill out the top of the head. I like the highlights in there. I think it's a very well-made Batman. But is it a very well-made Jim Lee Batman? I'd have to say it just looks a little off when compared to Jim Lee's art. The Jim Lee in this comic is more of a slender Batman. This Batman head is just very thick. I do want to point out that when Jim Lee started Hush, he actually started drawing Batman a bit more Frank Miller-esque, a lot more thick, I would say is the word I'm looking for. This is a good example where you can see his head is pretty thick looking. It's pretty buff, pretty muscular. But by the end of the book, Jim Lee's Batman is a lot more slim, a lot more thin. You can see that Batman there, or on the back cover. See his face. It's just a lot more thin. And I did read about how when Jim Lee started drawing the series, Batman evolved as he drew the series in real time. So it started off looking one way, he ended looking another. So Jim Lee, he kind of found his style. Now you could say, oh, this Batman, this is just the first look of the Jim Lee Batman, right? The slightly thicker, fatter head of Batman. And as we're going to see in a combiner model of the set, that one is the more accurate, thin version. Still, this Batman head just doesn't feel like Jim Lee to me. Even though Jim Lee drew his Batman like this at the beginning, a lot of fans see his Batman as the later version, which we also saw in his run on Justice League, To me, this more muscular, bulkier Batman is more akin to the Frank Miller Batman, who was very large. Moving on, we're going to check out the Joker. And I just want to let you guys know, I'm looking at these images off of Brickset, so put the link in the description if you want to see them for yourself. Now, this Joker, it looks really good. Certain aspects that really look Jim Lee-ish are those red eyes, the hair, the way it kind of curls down there. Right? I think of the iconic moment when Batman is beating the Joker up and he has his hair just loose. The red bloodshot eyes look really good. I think this is a very good Joker mosaic. But then again, I'm left with the conflict. Is this a good Jim Lee Joker? The face, it just looks very too smooth. I know Lego, they only have so much space to get in as much detail as they can on one of these mosaic sets. But I think when I think Jim Lee Joker, I think angles. I think the nose should be longer, more angular. The mouth, more caricature-ish. From the ear down to the chin, I imagine that being more angled. Again, I think this is a Joker that when anyone sees it, they're going to say, that it's a good Joker. That looks good. But Jim Lee specific, it just looks a little off to me. Okay, then we're on to the third and final version that you can make out of one set. That is Harley Quinn. Now this version appears to be off of Jim Lee's run on Suicide Squad, which is part of DC Rebirth from a few years ago. I don't recall her having that heart on her cheek. As I remember, she had more of a diamond shape on her cheek. Also the red, I remember that being more of a pink. The red on her ponytail, I know she has the blue. I like what they did there with the two tones of blue. But the red just looks, I don't know, I really thought that that was a pink color. Again, I might be wrong. I might have to go back and look at the comics, which I do own. I'm not going to take them out right now, but I have a whole box of comics, or the individual comics, right under this desk. Maybe for another video I will. But for now, they're going to stay there because my box weighs a ton. Compared to the other Batman and Joker, I think this really does look like Jim Lee's Harley Quinn. I think it's a very good Harley Quinn. I think fans of the character are really going to like this. Though personally, if I had a choice to build one out of the three, I'd probably build Batman and Joker before I built Harley Quinn. Now we're on to the final image that's posted on Brickset. And these show the first three, how they look together. And it shows the combiner models, which look fantastic. Let's look at the biggest one first. You got this Batman. You have to buy this set 3 times. But if you get all of them, you use all the pieces to make this giant Batman. Now, if you can see here, I think this Batman looks a lot more like Jim Lee Batman. Just look at the shape of the head and the angles and how it's formed. It's a lot more lean looking. His musculature isn't super large. The Batarang is nice. Plus here you can really see how they use the pieces from the other mosaics into this model. You see he has like a green glow on him, which is from the Joker's hair. But in the comic, there's a really cool moment where he fights Superman and he has a kryptonite ring. So maybe that's kind of reference to that, but it's probably just to use those green parts. The background, of course, makes use of all the pieces used for Harley Quinn. You can see in that tannish color for the hair, as well as the red and dark red. Then we're going to look down at the Batman and Catwoman mosaic, where you have to buy only 2 copies to make this. You see Batman and Catwoman together there. I think Hush might have been one of the first books where they really, you could say got together, right? You have them on the back cover here. Again, I think it's really well made. I really like the way they took use of the grays and the whites for Catwoman's outfit there, right? The leather, the way it's angled, I think it looks really well done. If I really want to be a nitpicker, I'd say that Batman is taller than Catwoman. They're not supposed to be right there. Like he's a bit taller than her. So was that a flex of my comic book knowledge and a nitpick that literally nobody's going to care about? Yes. Of course, when it comes to will I get this, cost plays a great role for me. As you know, a lot of LEGO YouTubers, they get stuff for free. Would I want stuff for free? Yes. LEGO, please send this to me for free. But because I only have so few subscribers, right, I just started the channel. Really, nobody knows who I am. I'm not going to get it for free. So if I want to get any of these, I'm going to have to buy them with my own money. So one of these sets is $120. If you want to get all the sets so you can have everything built at the same time, you are going to need 8 copies, which will bring you to a cool but modest $960 plus tax. You're right, you gotta love tax. That's going to take it up over $1,000, which it's just not really realistic. Maybe if you're a millionaire, maybe if you got a bunch of these sent to you for free, right? Good for you. But your average Lego fan, who my channel is really catered toward, you're not going to be able to afford that. That's just pretty insane. But what I recommend, if you really like these, I'd say get 2 or 3 if you really want. Right? Or even 1 is fine, right? If you just like the Batman, if you don't mind rebuilding them and breaking them down, switch between 3 different characters sounds good to me. If you really want to invest in another one to build a Catwoman one, by all means go for it. Then you could have a Batman and a Joker next to each other, which would look really cool. And if you have some extra money laying around, you really want to get that full-size Batman, I'd say go for it. Personally, if I was given the choice, $120 for this mosaic, for one of the mosaics, or $100, which is the rumored price of the new DC Tower of Fate, I'm picking the Tower of Fate all day, every day. I'm just more of a minifig person, right? You get brand new characters never made before. I mean, really, it's just wall art. Sure, it could really make a space look cool. Lego guy Brixie, he's really invested just a lot of money into mosaics, right? He has like all of them. He bought extra ones to do other versions. He's like, I'm going to show you a picture of his Lego room right here. That's good. You could just see it all over the wall. I mean, that must have cost a fortune. Of course, making Lego YouTube videos is what he does for a living, so he can afford that. But your average person is not going to be able to afford that. So that's my review. Will I be reviewing this set if I get one? Maybe, probably not. You know, you might have seen my globe video. I'll link it right there. It's just a very expensive set that's more of a display piece. So in conclusion, if you're into this sort of stuff, if you don't mind spending $120 a pop to build up your collection of Batman mosaics, or to make one of the big models, go for it. Personally, I think they look really good. Are they exactly like Jim Lee's Batman? Not exactly. If you're watching this video, maybe you came from watching other Lego YouTubers. I hope you come back to my channel because I know about DC maybe a lot more than most YouTubers do. With that being said, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave any comment. Honestly, any comments help me. You might have seen a little animation that I popped in the middle of the video that I made. The next thing I'm going to be doing is working on an intro for my channel. So that's going to show me working in my city, different clips. It's going to make things look a lot more professional. So with that being said, let me know if you're a fan of Jim Lee's art and if you're going to be buying the set or if you're going to go ahead and pass on it. Let me know in the comments and have a great day.